I love that intro. Actually peps me up. What's going on, you guys? We are back, believe it or not, for another Spy Family recap, discussion, review. Unfortunately, it's just me and Lucas here today. Matt, he's still got a lot going on, but do and definitely go to the description bar below. Check out his channel, his content. He's still doing reactions, but he's got a lot going on with life right now. But
Sam is not telling y'all the truth. Matt is not here because Matt is elegant. Elegant.
Anywho, we're gonna be covering a lot of ground here, so we're gonna be all over the place, and we're gonna try to keep it consolidated as best we can because we're not gonna be talking for 3 hours. We are way too sleepy. If you look at my eyes,
this is gonna be a nice 30 minutes because amazingly, episodes 8, 9, and 10 all connect
very well.
And I know it's a show, so all episodes connect, but these ones are like technically all run directly into each other in their form of connection where it just keeps the same exact story going, especially 8 and 9.
Yep. So the very beginning of episode 8, it shows Yor's brother. And you know, he kind of when he first comes onto the scene, like somebody's already being interrogated, the guy's not giving any information, and he kind of comes off really nice. He's like, "Man, I'm ready to see my sister." And all of a sudden, you see something in his eyes that remind you of his sister, and he gives that man the business to the point that I think they were talking about him. The chief was saying he's so cute and lovable, but you know, he gets the job done no matter what. And sure enough, he got what he needed. But in the same episode, the reason why he's brought up into this is because now he knows that his sister is married, and she is not told. He hadn't told him anything for a year. Like, why has this happened? What's going on? And so he takes it upon himself to say, "Yeah, this dude ain't no good. You know, I don't trust him, and he's not good enough for my sister." And this whole episode is really about him kind of like getting the vibe and trying to play it cool, but he's emotionally compromised because of his sister.
I'm about to say, yeah, none of it is cool this episode. Like, clearly, I can literally show you what he's doing, but what he does a lot in this episode, but YouTube would flag our video. So we can't show that. But let's just say it's a lot of what I do while we review this show is a lot of what he was doing this entire episode. And I think that is the key part here is that he's so he's just like as it's pointed out, like neither one can hold their liquor.
Not at all.
So neither one of them do good about that, but also neither one of them do good fully. It feels like neither one of them are the best under pressure, which is very odd for their professions that neither one of them are great under pressure.
Right.
Because he feels the pressure of it being him meeting Yor's husband for the first time and him knowing nothing about him. But you see clearly the love that he has for his sister. And on the other end, we have Yor, who's completely nervous about everything as it pertains to his visit. And then you have Lloyd, who's as calm, cool, and collective as humanly possible, which I think is the best part of this episode is him breaking down the brother, especially the brother's lies, and him picking up on everything. Thought that was the best part of this episode.
Yeah, it was fascinating because Lloyd, you forget sometimes because Lloyd has been a little emotionally compromised because of the family situation and the family dynamic. But Lloyd is an information tank. He has a plethora of information. When he started talking, like, no, I know how much that actually costs. I know who that actual chef is. I know what's going on over there. And I was like, yo, like he's a savage, like straight up. But even crazier than that is you come to find out that the brother is a part of the secret police, but one of the alias people that he is trying to take down is Twilight, and that's Lloyd. And so now you have a head-to-head situation where Lloyd, I think at the end of the episode, we'll go to the next episode in a second, but it was more so like Lloyd was kind of contemplating in his head, like, you know, I got to be real careful how I play this because I could play this to my advantage, or this could be like the hole that will break this whole entire thing down.
And we got to bring up that, at the beginning of this episode, we saw Lloyd break
Right.
when he's meeting with, I want to call her a comrade. And as he's attempting to lie, you see him getting extremely nervous. And her saying, "Oh, your skills at deception of lying, I can see aren't what they used to be." So then we get to see that again. Anya
Yeah.
has compromised him because I think it's called a Stella. Am I saying it right? Stella?
Yeah. Yeah.
Stella, like that he's real nervous because he wants her to get one. And he actually doesn't believe she can possibly do it. And he's so
Right.
nervous because of that. And you see that in his face here. And then you see him get comfortable around Yor and her brother, understanding like we need to sell this marriage. That's
Right.
the only way this can work. And then he picks up on him being secret police, and he's like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I need to use this to my advantage
Right.
of what he is."
Mm-hmm.
Because
Which is
they are
funny.
sworn enemies, as he said. His agency and the secret police are sworn enemies.
Yeah, it's funny because Lloyd, at a certain point, the brother is just so intoxicated. Like he at first, like he's like, oh man, he's a gentleman, he's a pretty boy, yada yada yada. He can cook, he's no good for my brother. And then he kind of was like, look, I don't accept this. So he's like straight up like, I don't
I never
accept.
accepted your marriage. I never told you I accepted your marriage.
Right. And so he was like, look, you gotta prove it to me, homie. Like,
Up and,
show me this is real. And
and
I was
just
kind of like,
oh, hold on,
good.
this is my favorite part. And just as Lloyd is making you comfortable and he's about to lean in, she then turns directly into her brother and like, nope, I need to be drunk before this happens. And she gets drunk. And then I think that's when the episode ends, just as
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
coming in close for the kiss again. That's what I said. That's what I said. These episodes connect so much
Mhm.
to one another because, again, besides you seeing Lloyd a little compromised at the beginning as it pertains to Anya and his mission and what he knows she has to do, but him doubting necessarily what she can do, then we get the situation of transition to the brother and all his information as we get the woman who Yor hated at the second episode when she like over the food tray and
Mhm.
everything else, and her saying, "Oh, your brother now knows you're married," and you're becoming nervous because, as she said, "I completely forgot about this." And then we see their connection as brother and sister as he comes
Mhm.
over that night. Which
Mhm.
weird, he did the same thing she did to or that Lloyd did to her in the second episode, where he was supposed to be there at a certain time and missed that time frame because he was doing business
Yep.
that she doesn't understand of what his business is. And then you just get to see their quick, funny wit relationship, how even Lloyd picks up on it, like he'll believe anything yours says. When she
Yep.
said, "Oh, I just forgot to tell you," like no real excuse. I just forgot to tell you. But then that bleeds again until episode 9, until the big
Mhm.
moment when yours drunk, Lloyd's all hot and steamy. And
Yo, so first off, Lloyd said something crazy. Lloyd was like, "Man, I slept with countless women and did this all for the good of my country. This is no different." And he tries to turn it on, but then she approached him, and like he kind of got thrown off a little bit. And the moment that was about to happen, this is episode 9. She
Mhm.
turns, is like, "I can't." She said this, and I think she said to her head, she was like, "I can't do this." And the brother, he had this random head thought about, I guess, the depths of his
Oh,
relationship with his sister.
how dare you make
and
up with my sister in front of me? I
and
know that was
she
very bad that I made that accent, but that's fine.
and she thought, I guess, she was gonna hit Lloyd, but instead she hit the brother, knocked the stew out that man. I was like,
Mhm.
God, dog, like they honestly, the amount of things that she said that she's done to her brother, that's an abusive relationship. Like she done abused that brother.
Yeah. I mean, if you bring it up to even in this episode where they go over why they're so close, that it was just them two, and her coming home from work and him thinking she was doing, I don't know what he assumed she was doing if every day she comes home covered in blood.
Blood, right, right. Like she just a bloody mess, and he was like, but I think so. She hit him the first time, and then he kind of was like thrown off by it. Some kind of way she hit him again. I don't remember why she hit him
She
again
hit
the
her
second time.
because Okay, the second time she hit him is because he's about to interrupt again. He's about to say something disrespectful. Because remember,
Oh, right.
before he, I want to say before she hit him the first time, right after she got drunk, when she threw the fork
Right.
and it kind of cut his face a little bit.
Right.
Then
Because
she hit
she
him.
had just drunken and it's just
Yeah,
like, man, yeah.
the first time she hit him by mistake. The second time it was on purpose.
Yeah, that was a real hit. For real, for
Yeah,
real.
and the whole
And
time Lloyd keeps his cool. Like, oh, oh, I love the way you two are, the way this brother and sister relationship goes, and come back anytime you want to. We'll gladly have you. And you're like, I don't need your permission to come back.
this man was so bad off. He was drunk, rolling down the street, asking for somebody for some help. I can't remember who he asked for help, but
Them two strangers, and they was like, wait a minute, first you need a hospital.
because he was like bleeding from his head. Felt like I saw
Yeah.
blood spurts coming out. But yeah, so he goes back and he talks with his coworkers about it or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of like regains his cool, so to speak, and just kind of gets a fresh perspective. But what that also did in turn is it made your and Lloyd start to question each other because
Mm-hmm.
one is like, all right, is this gonna compromise me? Like, is she devoted to her brother, and does she know what her brother does? And
Yep.
then for her, it's like, is he looking at me differently because of the relationship with my brother,
Mm-hmm.
and he must look at me as a bad person, well, a bad wife in this scenario.
Yeah.
And she just couldn't, in her head, she wasn't living up to what she was supposed to be. And it was weird because the whole entire time he was kind of alienating her. And like all children do,
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't even think it was her reading their minds. She could tell. She could tell something was going on anyway. But then she started
Yeah.
reading their minds. She was like, "Yo, y'all got to get together and make up." And they were like, "Ain't nothing wrong with us." She gets on the bus. She's like, "Look, y'all better make up. I'm out here doing this for y'all. Y'all better make sure y'all get it
And I
together."
think that's when Lloyd pulls the trick on her,
Mm-hmm.
as he has his partner, and because he wants to find out for sure that there's no
Right.
connection to her brother, that she
Mm-hmm.
knows nothing of what her brother is. And I mean, that's again that for episode 9, that was the most important discovery, is when he's doing all of this to tempt her, to tell her, as he said, to get out of trouble, you would say who your brother is,
Mm-hmm.
because at that point it's almost a get out of jail free card.
Right.
And for her not to know anything about her brother, or and her defend him at the same time.
She did.
Like,
She
my
definitely
brother and
did.
my husband are two like honest working great men. Like, it was what he needed to feel comfortable around your again.
Right. And it's funny because if they would have kept pushing, they might have got killed for real. For real,
Oh yeah, she was gonna kill the
somebody would have
friend.
took an L. Somebody would
You
have took an
saw,
L.
you saw what she did to his arm. She was gonna kill the friend. He was definitely
Yeah,
gonna die.
yeah,
Because she
yeah.
said, if you threaten them in any way, I will basically kill both of you.
Right, right. And it's like I don't know, man. Like she is next level, bro. I love her as a character because she's actually so sweet, but she's one of the most deadly characters I haven't seen in a very long time.
Exactly.
Like she is just like it's in her bones. Even her conversations that she has with Anya or anybody, it's almost like connected to death or maiming, murdering, or capability of hurting somebody. Like it's
Hey,
so weird.
in episode 10, we'll definitely get into those conversations with Anya, because that is the funniest thing in the world to me. Oh goodness, that's so funny. Elegance. That's so
Um,
funny.
so I
But
think
I think that's the conclusion of episode 9. Really, is
yeah,
them getting
yeah,
together and kind of working out the things in front of Anya, as it's just about a mutual trust at that point, that they
yeah,
both have each other, because they both questioned it. Like, do
yeah,
I trust them? And for Yor is about her being a good wife. Like, in
hmm
the end, you see she's really diving into this role, and she just doesn't want to disappoint.
right,
She wants to do everything a good wife is supposed to do for Lloyd.
right,
Lloyd's thing was, I need to make sure like she's not a spy sent here to spy on me and
hmm
working for her brother,
right.
which I don't know why he could even put that together after everything we've seen, but I do understand him being a spy. Why you always got to be careful
Yeah,
because you never know someone's secret motives are.
yeah, yeah. It was cute. I mean, the weird thing about this show as a whole to me is that every single episode, as cute as it can be, as off the wall crazy as it can be, it's still
Mm-hmm.
relatable. Like for me as a
Mm-hmm.
parent, for me as a husband, I find it so relatable. And to the point, like I let my wife start watching it. She was like, "Man, I ain't starting another anime." Got through first episode, got through three episodes. She's like, "You ready to look at Spy?" I was like, "Honey, I got to do work." She's like, "Really?" So yeah, it's so interesting how they find so many different themes that you can really truly connect with. No matter how out there it is, like it still is grounded in realism as far as human
Exactly.
relation.
Again, it's one of the best things he tells her when he tells Yord like it. You know, you don't need to worry about appearing to be the proper wife as long as you're comfortable with who you are.
Right.
Like that's a saying you can tell a kid and them fully grasp it, but at the same time get an adult interested in it. Unlike
Right.
a other cartoon movie I saw that can't get adults involved. But that we'll say that for another time.
Yeah, yeah,
But let's
yeah.
get on
Go
to episode 10. My favorite episode so far.
ahead.
Because boy, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a
Dodge a
ball.
ball. Patches or Houlihan. But nah, so this episode, Anya. Well, it's actually it starts off with the son of the
Damien.
senator, Damien.
Yeah, Damien.
Damien, like he has in the back of his head what he needs to do to really be noticed and seen by his father. We didn't know,
Hmm.
he's got an older brother that's got all these accolades and stuff like that. His
Hmm.
friends talk even about the older brother. And so he's like, okay, how can I get on the MVP status? How can I get where I need to get? And it's like this dodgeball thing. Somebody had a rumor that possibly he'd be able to do it. And if he gets it, then of course he gets what he wants. But other side of that is we know another young lady who's devoted to her dad and her family.
Hmm.
It's like I have to rise to the occasion and get the Stella.
And that's what makes this the
Oh
funniest, the
man.
most fun episode. Because one, it's an episode about dodgeball.
Yeah.
It's about an episode about winning an MVP of a dodgeball tournament. It's an episode with my favorite character on this show, Elegance.
Oh, that's right. Because it did start with him because he
It
was
started off with him
exercising.
about him teaching how does it feel to be back to teaching kids again,
Mm-hmm.
and then him bringing up like the situation with Anya punching Damien, and he said, "Hey, while I award defending somebody, we still have to punish the bad behavior."
Right. Yeah, he got his work cut out for him with these crazy kids because these kids are next level. To be honest with you, like they, like every
Yeah,
single conversation, they're just bickering, arguing, like cussing at each other. Like I actually want to
mm,
see the dub just to see the young actors
exactly.
actually do this one. But
And this grown ass kid just
oh
happens
no,
to.
that's a man child for real, for real. Like that's the epitome of a man child. Like I was like, he's sitting out there training, in the woods or something like that, throwing dodgeballs at trees, knocking trees down. And like his dad is freaking huge.
Yep.
And he's like, Daddy, Daddy. I was like, what kind of steroids are they putting this
Yeah,
kid
when you find
on?
out that that's a
Because
kid, the whole time I'm like, okay, so is this grown man teaching the kids how to play dodgeball? And you're
right,
like, oh no, he's the kid in the
right.
class.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I would say at that point, again, with Anya, just understanding just how important it is to get a trophy. And because we kind of skipped a little bit, I think it was in episode 8 when she failed the test. And then Lloyd picks up on her the way that she learns is from cartoons.
Right.
When she asks, like, well, how many bullets is in his gun? And he said 8. He said, oh, so he has 2/3 bullets left.
Mm-hmm.
And Lloyd was so surprised. So it kind of shows that the way Anya learns things may be a little different than the
Mm-hmm.
other kids, and that may be a plus. And we kind of see it a little bit in a dodgeball tournament here.
Yeah.
And she understood the importance of it. And of course, if you understand the importance of dodgeball, who else would you ask to train you
Of
but
course. Your. Yes. Yes. Yes.
who kind of let
Dude.
it slip when she said, did she say? Like, and we'll kill them all.
She did.
And
She said
Lloyd's
that.
like, oh,
Lloyd
and
was
Lloyd's like,
like,
oh,
you
so
know
you
what?
are, you're also athletic. She's like, oh, just a little bit.
He was like questioning himself. He was like, you know what? I told her I'd let her have it. And this, for real, from a dad standpoint, sometimes you be looking at your spouse or significant other, and they're like, I got it. And you're like, all right, let me just sit back and just let them figure it out. They'll get it. And that happens. That's real. And he let her try to figure it out on her own. And to be fair, it was interesting watching their little training montage, and
Yeah,
she was sitting there doing sit-ups. And this is the weird thing about her as a trainer. She's not rude about it.
no,
Like, and I don't know if it's more that Anya is devoted to pleasing her parents so much that, but even when Anya was kind of like flailing or not waking up, she never yelled at Anya. She never lashed out
it's
at her. She never scolded her. Like, she was like, look, we're gonna do this. It's gonna be
it's
okay.
because I think Anya reminds her of her brother. Remember,
It
she
makes
was
sense.
the older sister who had to take care of him. So
Mhm.
Anya now is just an extension of that. It's no difference to her.
Right.
Like she understands, like, no, I just need to love on you and you'll get it together. And she's teaching her the first one is how to throw your hips into it as you throw the
Mm-hmm.
dodgeball. And
Mm-hmm.
she breaks a dang tree and she throws the
Dog.
dodgeball into it.
Dog. Look, first off, when we see her, because she was like, I'm training you, I'm getting you ready for the master throw, the killer
Yep.
throw, something like that. When you finally see that, and she throws that dodgeball, I was like, oh, this is the most anime thing I've ever seen in my life. That dodgeball went through the air, through the water,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, yeah, now somebody would have died for real. And she probably would have knocked somebody's head off with that thing. Um, but no, it's the weird thing about it is that in actual dodgeball tournament, Damien, like, he was trying to psych the other guy out, and like he's sitting there seeing four people down, four people down. Like, the guy was just waiting to get Damien out,
Yep.
and one of his homeboys jumped in for him, like, look, you got this, Damien, it's gonna be okay. And he just takes the hit for him and goes down. And Damien was like, all right, look, I'm the last one left. And for whatever the reason, he looks at Anya, the other guy. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and take her out. And he couldn't hit her, no matter what he did, because she
Hmm.
predicted every single throw he did, no matter what kind of way he threw it. She predicted it. Just as long as she was in front of it and her feet were planted, she was able to move out of the
Yeah.
way of it.
That wasn't no predicting. That was her reading his mind. She fully understood everywhere he was going to throw the dodgeball at
True,
because she
true,
listened the whole time.
true.
And that's why he was so confused, except for that one time where she tripped. And that's the only reason he missed her. And
Right.
then that's when she went to the ground. And then Damien,
He stopped it for her.
I love this little back and forth because it's so much what kids do. If anyone has kids, little kids, or if you like me have had them and now they're all big kids, and you see them as little kids when they have crushes and you
Mm-hmm.
see what they do with their little crushes, because that's what they like. He loves you. I'm sorry, he loves
Anya,
Anya,
he does
and he just doesn't know what to do about his feelings for her.
at all.
And
He
that's
really
what
don't.
makes him step in front of a dodgeball for her. He almost caught it. He came close. He just couldn't
He came
contain it,
real
but he
close.
almost caught it.
He came real close.
And then we get
But
the biggest anime buildup humanly possible.
no, first off, she was like, she got a little bandana planted. Everybody started thinking like, oh, okay, maybe she can do this. Maybe she's dodged everything out at this point. And she gets her little build up, all for it to just fall on the ground, and she gets knocked back. Y'all, I was
Oh man.
rolling. I was
Oh man,
rolling.
she threw the little ball up. That little ball just went into the air and came right back down. It rolled to him. He caught it and still popped. But this is where we get also the true point of dodgeball.
Right,
As Mr. Elegance said, like, it's great to see their teamwork. They teamed up to beat this mammoth kid
right.
together. And you saw Damien sacrifice himself for Anya. We see Anya show true love and compassion for him.
Yep.
And so when they think the award is coming from the dodgeball tournament, and he informs them, "Who told you that? I never said anything of that nature." And then the big kid who thought he won, he lets him know, "No, you, while you won the war, your language and your attitude towards it is the reason that you lost." And
Yeah.
he gave him the same deduction he gave Anya for punching Damien.
She's fascinated. Yeah, that threw him
He
off.
was going to give both of them to Stella because how great they were together up until Damien called her an idiot for falling. And why did you do all of that? And Anya
And
telling
then
him, "You know what? I don't like you now."
right, and then Becky jumps in and calls him a certain poo poo face. I'm gonna say it like
Yeah.
that. And then the friends jump in, and yeah, after that, I was like, man, this poor old man, he got
And
his
then
work
Miss
cut out
Elegant
for
said, he said, maybe he is a shithead.
him. He really did. He actually really did. Oh man, yeah. Nah, this is one of those episodes I would love to go and listen to the dub because it's hilarious. It is pure comic
Yeah, I
gold.
mean, it's great when you see just the kids, even them getting hit by the dodgeballs, even the other random kids, where the big dodgeball kid is working out all of these trick throws and everything on all the kids. It
Right.
it's a this is a fun episode, and I think um episode 8 had a little weight to it, and
Hmm.
episode 9 kind of carried it over a little bit, so they needed to, because as you see by the middle part of episode 9, you see it kind of change into something different.
Yeah.
And here you get that full feeling of what episode 9 was turning into, which is more of a funny thing. I think they do a great job of giving you extremely serious moments, but putting enough comic relief in it where it keeps it intriguing.
Right.
I
But
mean, you
yeah.
never get over Anya trying to do push-ups. I mean sit-ups, damn it.
Sit-ups.
Because
Yeah,
she could barely get one.
she was not getting it. She was not getting it at all. But she tried. She put in like, you know what? Like, if this is the weird thing. These kids, when they grow up, when Anya grows up, it's gonna be very fascinating to see what they really become.
Yeah.
Because she does have a very innate ability, but she's
Hmm.
learning and pretending a lot of information from both Yor and Lloyd. Um, but yeah, nah, like the training, some of them anime moments were just ridiculous.
Hmm.
I could have sworn when Damien was training at one point, I swear it was a Dragon Ball Z moment. Like it literally looked like Dragon Ball Z, and I was
Hey,
like,
when all the boys got together to try to throw it.
they
And then
tried.
when they failed the first time and then they got it behind each other and they was moving their little arms all fast, try to dizzy him. Like, oh, that was funny.
Oh, boy. But yeah,
But again,
nee.
you just see the enjoyment here of them being kids. I think they're doing a great job of showing kids be kids.
Yeah,
Even though Anya has these powers, we at times forget she has powers.
sure.
And instead, we just see her as a kid trying to navigate everything. Not
Yeah,
necessarily using her powers to listen in on everybody, but using them when she feels comfortable using them when it was something she really thinks she needs to know. Like again, another great moment in this show. I think it was episode 8. It definitely was not episode 10 when Anya had to give an answer for the test. I forget the answer she gave, and the teacher was like, "That is amazingly wrong."
right. I can't. Yeah, it was right at the beginning of the episode, and she just got it terribly wrong. But nah, it was funny. It was funny. I love the show, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I don't know where it's going, and I think
There's only two
eventually it's
episodes
gonna
left.
the tone is gonna definitely switch it up. Probably next episode. Um, because yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. The pieces are there
Mhm.
to make this a very interesting ending. And we're just gonna give a small little RIP to this little man right here who took a who
Took it
took a
took it
took a
right
blast
to the
on his face.
face. Took it right to the face.
We're just gonna end that on his face right here. But we'll be back next week for episode 11. And of course, we'll conclude on episode 12 until it comes back for a second season. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell button. Definitely go and check out Matt's content. It's in the description bar below. And we'll talk to you guys later. Peace,
Spam
people.
Matt's comments with saying elegance.
Elegance.
Falling off the top of